One of the other top issues Americans are facing is immigration, and it was a big news week in South Dakota, specifically when it comes to national politics, because Governor Kristi Noem was tapped to be the DHS Secretary. What's your reaction?
Kristi Noem is going to be great in that job. She's decisive. She understands what needs to be done. She isn't somebody who craves universal appeal. She knows that making hard decisions is occasionally going to ruffle feathers. She is willing to be a productive disruptor. She knows we have to secure the border. She knows that 8 million people illegally crossing the border in the last 4 years is impossible to defend. She's going to go do what has to be done for America.
I've talked to all types of people from all political backgrounds in the past 2 or so years, and Republicans and Democrats alike from all the states that I've talked to have agreed that there is a crisis at the southern border. They've said every state is a border state. So can you talk to us about what you see in South Dakota specifically? Are you dealing with migrants in any capacity? Does she have the experience to lead this department?
We know that 95% of the fentanyl and meth coming into this country come across the southern border. These drugs are wreaking a carnage on our communities. I would be shocked if there is a single county in America that didn't have more drug overdose deaths last year than they did 10 years ago, 20 years ago, 30 years ago. It is indeed true that every community is a border community just because the drugs are absolutely destroying our families and communities. This is a solvable problem. When we secure the border, we'll be able to have more agents focused on drug interdiction rather than processing a couple million people entering the country illegally.
But do you think Governor Kristi Noem specifically has the experience to spearhead this initiative?
I mean, this isn't rocket science. I mean, what we need is somebody who is decisive enough and focused enough to go do what we all know needs to be done. That is put back into place for men in Mexico. It worked. It reduced border crossings by 85% over the course of just 6 weeks when President Trump put it into place 6 years ago. That is the kind of improvement we can have almost overnight. That, on top of making sure that we've got the dedicated men and women on Border Patrol focused on drug interdiction, is absolutely, Kristi Noem is absolutely capable of having that well-run organization meet its mission for America.
Last week, I had the opportunity to speak with a Democrat from South Dakota, vice chair of the South Dakota Democratic Party, Jessica Myers, and she said that she was a little more critical of the governor. She said the only thing that the state's Republicans and Democrats agree on is that they were, quote, thrilled that she's leaving the state and that she's tough to work with and for. Can you talk to us about your experience working with the governor, because it sounds a little different?
It's too bad Jessica, felt the need to throw sharp elbows as the governor went to go serve our country on an even larger level. It used to be that we could at least be happy for one another in politics. Even if we didn't agree on everything, we could say nice things as their retirement, or we could say nice things as they got a promotion, or we could try to talk about the common ground. I would say this about Kristi Noem. She and I have a great working relationship because we're both purpose-driven. We both love this country. We both know the importance of bending the arc of history toward freedom. She is a true believer, and apparently she's made some decisions that maybe have ruffled the Democratic activists' feathers in South Dakota. I would tell you that is just fine by me, and that is just fine by the overwhelming majority of South Dakotans. I mean, let's remember, Governor Noem was overwhelmingly elected for re-election just a couple of years ago. So who knows? Maybe there's some sour grapes coming from the state Democratic Party.